Alrighty, so I wanted to go over these dev notes, and it is a couple of days late, of course, but I'm gonna get to it. I'd rather have it up and people be able to see it if they want it than me just skip it completely. So obviously, with the Demon King and stuff like that coming out, I was a little bit more busy and didn't get to do this one as soon as I would want to. But either way, there's some pretty interesting stuff in here that I think is worth the look, and so we're gonna go over and read it today. Obviously, my microphone is different and my webcam is not on. It's because I am in a different setup right now. I do not have my webcam, and I did not bring my regular microphone with me. So unfortunately, this is a very audio heavy video, and I am not using the better mic, but it is what it is. I am not home at the moment, so we will just do what we can. Either way, let's hop into this thing. Obviously, he does his little intro here and talks about hopping into the dev notes, but let's go over this thing. So, Underground Labyrinth improvements. The Underground Labyrinth is a PvE content where players utilize passives and randomly appearing heroes and level them up while retrying and repeating until they find the ultimate route to clear out, all Labyrinth stages. Underground Labyrinth stages become more difficult the more you advance, and players come up with various strategies to clear them. On top of that, in its current state, Labyrinth, alongside a Hero Arena, have become regularly updated contents where players can get legendary seals used for LR evolution, which is, that's great. You want to be able to get as many of those as possible. The Underground Labyrinth was developed to be a fun game mode, borrowing certain elements from a roguelike game genre, such as trial, retrial, learning, and increased stage difficulty. It was also developed with the intention of being a relatively even playing field where you can enjoy the game mode even if you haven't leveled up specific heroes. However, many players have differing views about the difficulty of the Underground Labyrinth. Also, we have found polarizing results in our analysis of players' usage rate, showing many players either play this content often or almost not at all, that's actually kind of interesting. I mean, it makes sense because some people, they just don't have certain characters and they just don't really like the game mode in general, so they just I could see them kind of just skipping it. Whereas, I don't know, players like me, I really do think that the game mode is pretty fun, so I do kind of enjoy going back through and playing it from time to time while it's available. Trying to come up with different team comps and stuff like that can just be fun if I'm just looking to mess around a little bit. So, on one hand, many players were able to clear the depths through resetting and retrying to clear the Underground Labyrinth. On the other hand, many players have also reported in our official forum community that they feel it's difficult to clear floor 1 even after numerous attempts, eventually leading them to quit trying halfway through. Bearing that in mind, we were able to conclude that in its current state, the first stages of the Underground Labyrinth have elevated difficulty that depends on a lot of RNG and less enjoyable for many players. Based on that, it became apparent that there is a need for the following systematic solution to the game mode. So this is where they get into what they're actually planning on doing. Based on what was mentioned above, we plan to add an exclusive buff system for the duration of the Underground Labyrinth event, allowing players to get stronger the more they advance in the Underground Labyrinth. The exclusive buffs can be purchased from the Underground Labyrinth shop, and buffs can be leveled up by buying more of them. Exclusive buffs effects will remain even when starting over in the Underground Labyrinth. So the basic gist of this is what they're saying is once you reach the shop on each floor, you can basically buy a buff that will actually persist through all of your runs, and it will stack each time you get it, so that way it makes your runs easier as you do it more and more times, which is really nice for those players who, try it over and over and over again and just cannot seem to get either the right characters that they're looking for or good passives or just bad RNG in general. Should hopefully alleviate a lot of that stress. I guess we'll just kind of have to see what the buff itself is. But I assume if it's just like, even if it's like a 5% all stats buff or something like that, and you buy it enough times, obviously you'd be super OP at some point. But I don't know. We'll kind of have to wait and see what the actual buff itself does, and how well it stacks and everything. But going on, through introducing the new exclusive buff system, we hope to see or to ease some of the difficulty experienced in the Underground Labyrinth. We intend to continue improving the game mode so that players can enjoy it using a wide variety of heroes instead of selected few. So I think that is a really good point as well. I think so many people are just really hung up on the fact that they either only go for the angel team, only go for the demon team, like whatever it may be. Like they're really trying to like focus on going for specific heroes that they see like either YouTubers make videos on or just like community members that are like, oh, like once I got the angel team, the entire thing was incredibly easy. But you could, RNG wise, you could do 1,000 runs and somehow never get the units that you're looking for. And from my understanding, you do have to own some of the heroes to even be able to pull them in Labyrinth. So like Mael, for example, if you don't have him, you're not going to be able to put together a really good goddess team, so that might end up kind of hurting you. Whereas with this, it seems like even if you try it enough times, you could probably put some sort of like weird amalgamation team together and it still do relatively well, hopefully. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, because it's always fun to use like weird, like off-meta team comps and stuff like that. You don't want to feel forced to use like just teams that are like insanely good because they have a ton of synergy, but I mean, obviously that is the ideal scenario, I guess. So furthermore, we have seen a lot of players reporting they find the concept of having to first clear all 3 floors of the labyrinth, only to have to repeatedly clear the labyrinth depths over and over in order to purchase items in the exchange shop to be tiring. To address this, we want to improve the reward system by providing clear rewards after clearing each floor of the underground labyrinth, which can be exchanged in the exchange shop. By doing so, the underground labyrinth would hopefully be aligned with its original development intention of being light and fun PvE content. So I'm not 100% sure what they're saying here. I don't know if that just means that you're going to get the exchange shop currencies on each floor clear as well as the depths, or what, but I mean, hey, that might help sort of clear the exchange shop faster, and honestly, that's something that I can get behind. Like, it takes maybe like a couple of runs, like maybe 10 runs or so, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, to actually clear out all of the exchange shop stuff besides those little like RNG boxes that you get. But if you really want to go and get every single thing out of the exchange shop, including like all 20 or 30 of those boxes, however many you can get, you really do have to run the labyrinth, like, or the depths, like over and over and over again for like I don't want to say hundreds of times, but you have to run it quite a few times to be able to get all the currency needed, which I find to be kind of annoying. Like, at that point I just give up on trying to get all the boxes, and once I have everything else I just move on. But maybe that'll help alleviate that. Additional hero arena improvements. So this one is obviously pretty good too, because obviously people have, some people have mixed opinions on Heroes Arena. I obviously am not a big fan of how big the gap is from, Challenger to Champion, and I don't know, the exchange shop rewards are pretty nice, but what good are they if you only are you're pretty much forced to buy nothing other than the LR tokens, which is just kind of annoying. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Out of the Hero Arena improvements we mentioned in our previous dev note, we are planning to release ones that have still not made it into the game yet. To begin, starting from the next season, players will be able to save their progress before continuing the next defense team round whenever they choose to, instead of automatically being teleported to the next round, allowing players to take breaks. So that's really nice. Obviously, if you're unaware, basically whenever you beat a character while you're in a tower, each tower has 5 different teams. Once you beat a team, it immediately throws you into the next team's fight, and you really can't back out or do anything crazy like that. So kind of annoying. You're forced to fight 5 teams at a time, which, I mean, it is what it is. But being able to stop in between those could be nice, because maybe it's a phone game at the end of the day. You get in the middle of something, you're like, hey, I got to put the phone down for a little bit. Let me just take a break in between this fight. Do what I got to do. While we had intended for this improvement to be introduced into the game in Season 2, we ran into unexpected difficulties, leading us to push back the release of this feature to Season 3. Additionally, we are aware that having to start over from the beginning whenever failing to clear the Heroes Arena due to team choices or more is tiring for many. As a solution, we are developing a feature which would allow players to start over from a specific enemy team rather than start over entirely. So this is pretty big, honestly. This is really nice. From the translations on the JP thing, it sounded like you were just going to be able to reset for each tower, but I'm not sure if it's even more specific to where, hey, if you mess up during this team specifically and you want to retry it, that actually sounds like it's super, super nice, I guess, at the end of the day. But I don't know how specific it's going to be on that, but being able to reset without doing the entire thing over and over again will save you tons of time, because if you've been keeping up with the people doing the the going second teams and stuff to clear Challenger. I did do that last week. Unfortunately, I forgot to record it to make a video on it, but I'll try it this week. But it just, man, if you mess up and you're like a couple of teams in, it is going to absolutely eat your time up. And depending on how many teams and good units you have left, you might not even be able to end up clearing it after you mess up. So being able to reset without doing or resetting the entire thing could be really, really nice, and it could save a ton of time. So we hope that by adding this feature, players would have a better time changing team compositions and adjusting their strategies when clearing Heroes Arena. To add on to that, we are working to change some of the rules regarding the league selection and rewards. Currently, once players clear a certain league in Heroes Arena, they can either claim that league's clear reward or give up that reward and try challenging a higher tier for a better reward. As a result, players have to give up on guaranteed rewards in hopes of receiving a better reward. So basically what they're saying here is they're going to make it to where you can challenge the lower difficulties, and then once you beat those, you can try to challenge the higher difficulties as well, so that way you can actually still get rewards out of it. And instead of you clearing a low difficulty and being like, hey, I probably could have done better, it doesn't matter, it would have locked you out at that point from clearing it. So you should be able to try higher difficulties even once you've beat it, which is kind of nice. So that sounds pretty cool. We want to ensure that players feel encouraged to go for better rewards, and in order to do that, we plan on changing some of the rules relating to that. We hope that through these changes, players will have a more enjoyable experience that matches their level. Lastly, we would like to provide more information regarding the Hero Arena season buff system. As many of you already know, the hero to get a seasonal buff was switched after the 731 update maintenance. If the season buff is expanded to multiple heroes instead of replacing them, a drastic decrease in difficulty over time could occur. Therefore, it was decided that the season buff system, season buff heroes, will be switched/replaced. We have received your feedback regarding the hero utility in the Heroes Arena, and we are currently evaluating seasonal heroes utility accordingly. Any changes to the Hero Arena season buff system will be discussed in future notices. So I guess I can understand where they're coming from with this one. Basically what they're saying is the more seasonal characters that we have available, the easier the fights get, and that is definitely true. Whenever they had Summer Freya as the seasonal hero, which is actually coming back in this next update, it was incredibly easy to just do like a full tower sweep with the Ragnarok team if you had them all like built up and invested into, of course. And after that, like basically what I did this past week was I did Goddesses for Tower 1, I did Ragnarok for Tower 2, and then I waited for Demon King to come out, because once the update got pushed out, you could use Demon King as the boosted seasonal unit, and then I just used a Demon team to clear floor 3, or Tower 3. So I was able to use two different heroes with seasonal buffs to clear it for a much easier time. And to be honest, it might be a little overpowered, but at the same time, if they want people to be able to compete and be able to beat this, really hard game mode, going second is no easy feat, especially, having to beat 5 towers in a row. It's really tough. So if you want to go for max rewards and stuff like that, I think, honestly, like if they're doing 3 or 6 week-long seasons and a new character comes out every 2 weeks, I think that they should just make whatever new character is out a seasonal character, and by week 4, that would be when the third banner would release. I think that they should just have all 3 of those characters to be seasonal, so that way it will be easier by the end of it. You won't be able to get max rewards through all 3 of the season, or all 6 of the weeks, I guess, but at the same time, it'll make it easier for those who just want to get like a small boost in rewards towards the end or whatever. Just personal opinion on that one. I don't know. I really don't like the fact that at the top of Champion you get 15 coins worth of rewards, and then at the lowest end on Challenger you get 20 coins worth of rewards. Like the fact that you get a whole 5 increase, and then if you can complete it on the highest difficulty for Challenger, you actually get 24 coins worth. So that's 9 coin increase. That's so much extra rewards that you're getting just for clearing it on the last difficulty. I think the gap is too high, to be honest. Like, I don't know. It sucks. You have to be either a really high whale to be able to out CC and win every single time, or You have to get lucky with RNG and your teams, and you have to, I don't know, you have to come up with these like crazy strategies to go second, which honestly, I mean, going second isn't necessarily the problem. I think that does sort of like breed innovation and people come up with cool and interesting teams that can do it. But I don't know. It's just I just don't really like the way that it's laid out so far. But maybe they'll fix that and going forward. We'll have to wait and see. Next one is the Tower of Trials ending. So obviously this one was kind of controversial. As it was mentioned in previous dev notes throughout the year, we have announced the Tower of Trials will be coming to an end. We have mentioned that the Tower of Trials will see its last update at the end of April, and a new PvE game mode will introduce in its place. The Tower of Trials was originally developed to be a climb to advanced styled content. However, this game mode was changed to require a specific strategy that you could only clear once. As a result, it has received much negative feedback, which has ultimately led to the Tower of Trials to have one of the lowest reusage rates amongst all content in the game. That seems really stupid to me. I've seen a couple of people make some good points. Who's going to play it over and over again whenever you only get the rewards once? And they've reset it once, which I think was I don't want to say it was a mistake on their part, because it did give us a lot of free rewards, and I'm very happy about that. But if you were going to give people hope that it would be continuously getting reset, at periodic intervals in the future, that's where people were pretty much getting upset with it, I think. And obviously, like, if you already got the rewards, why would you play it again? And that just seems stupid. Like, at the same time, they could apply this exact same logic to the reverse stages. If you've already beat all the reverse stages, no one is playing reverse stages. So I don't know. I don't know if they plan on updating and adding new reverse stages at some point. I would imagine they would, but I mean, it's been so long at this point, I really don't know if it's even on their mind. But yeah, this is kind of weird logic on this one, but I guess it is what it is. While we are aware that there are players who had enjoyed uncovering the hidden passives and required strategies of new tower stages, we had to reach the conclusion that with the new PvE content such as Heroes Arena and Underground Labyrinth being regularly updated, it would be hard to upkeep the Tower of Trials for longer. Moreover, the menu interface has to be rearranged to make room for upcoming PvE content, which has added the need for the Tower of Trials to be replaced. So I seen somebody say that it's really stupid that they're replacing it and saying that this is one of the reasons, because you can obviously scroll through the gameplay menu. Like, all of the game modes are in one menu and you can scroll it up and down. So obviously they could just add endless amounts. I can maybe understand like them trying to make it a little bit more concise and slimming it down to only the stuff that's needed and everything. I don't know. I don't think this was really a good enough reason for them to also be like, well, we'll just get rid of it. But I guess it is what it is. Counting from the release of this week's update notice, there will be roughly a month to finish clearing and claiming all of the Tower of Trial rewards before it finally ends. So it is leaving in about a month. Obviously, this came out a couple of days ago, but it's supposed to be leaving, I think, at the very beginning of September. So if you need guides on how to beat any of those floors, I do obviously have a playlist and just the guides on every single floor from Tower of Trials, so feel free to look those up or just check them out if you need to. Even if the characters that I use on my teams in those videos aren't working for you, there's a lot of people I urged in each of those guides that people post the teams that work for them down in the comments and stuff like that. So feel free to look through the comments as well, because there's just a ton of different teams that people used for different floors and stuff like that to try to get through the gimmicks. So that might help you out a little bit. We recognize that some players will have a harder time with these changes and would like to ask for your understanding on that matter, as this is an opportunity to provide you with a better game content in the near future. Although the Tower of Trials as a regular game content may come to its end, Event Tower of Trials will continue to appear or to make appearances as usual, which honestly, Event Tower of Trials are normally incredibly easy, and it's just a bunch of just random free rewards that you get whenever they decide to give them out. I think that's fine, I guess. I mean, I don't know why you would get rid of it in the first place. Like, so I guess it's good that they reaffirmed that they're not getting rid of it, but I don't know. It is what it is. This one's also kind of interesting. Knighthood boss battle score calculation changes. Since its release in 2019, the Knighthood boss battle has gone through many changes. In the process, game mode was changed to one where players had to try to get their highest score by clearing the Knighthood boss battle weekly. However, with the addition of deeper endgame content such as Heroes Arena and Underground Labyrinth, many players have been experiencing fatigue, and there now seems to be a need for simplifying some of the Knighthood boss battle clearing processes. So I think this is a really good way that they're looking at the game right here. Like, honestly, there's a lot of stuff that you have to do in this game. There's many different game modes, and every single one of them basically reset on Mondays, and it makes Mondays for me just kind of a slog sometimes. Like, obviously I have a whole week to do them, and I could just do them throughout the week, of course, so that would probably help alleviate things. But I like to get them done as soon as I can, so that way the rest of the week I don't have to worry about it. But when I have to run Demonic Beast Battle for the first time of the week and clear all 3 floors of Nidhogg, that can be a little bit time consuming. I now have to clear Heroes Arena if it's up, and I have to do all 3 of these towers, and if I'm trying to do it on Challenger difficulty, oh boy, it is not going to be a simple task, and there's a lot of RNG involved. So that's also going to take me maybe like 2-3 hours, depending on how long it goes. Obviously, some of you may be able to beat it faster, or maybe it takes longer. Who knows? But there's just a ton of stuff that you have to worry about each week. Different game modes getting reset, different rewards and stuff like that you have to work on. You have to climb through, the tiers in PvP if you want to go for max rewards and stuff. There's just a lot to worry about in the game right now. So honestly, anything that they can do to sort of alleviate that would be kind of nice. And that's coming from somebody who basically plays the game as a job. Like, I literally play the game every single day, and obviously that can just kind of take its toll. It gets annoying or boring or repetitive over time. So that is a nice thought that they're having there. To solve this knighthood boss battle, score rank calculations will be changed to only include the hell difficulty. By limiting rank scores to the hell difficulty, we expect there to be less fatigue, since players won't have to try and get the best scores for each difficulty. So obviously this is really nice, but it's really only going to help those people who are doing guild wars. Like, I personally only do like on a regular week, I only really do like one hell run and hope for the best. If I get all the rewards, great. If not, I pretty much don't worry about it, because I don't know. It is what it is. And then for extreme, most of the bosses I can get 6,000 score on extreme with just one extreme run. Which will end up netting me all the rewards, which makes it to where I don't even need to play normal or hard at that point. And if you're running Guild Wars stuff, you do need to get good scores in all difficulties to be able to place. But at the same time, Hell difficulty, I don't want to say is like super whale heavy, but at the same time, some of the bosses take very specific characters with very high ult levels, such as the new strategy to just use 6/6 Transcendent Bond to absolutely wipe the entire field with a Kumu and get like 20,000 score on Hell difficulty, which is absolutely insane. So, some people aren't going to be able to do that. Some people, it's going to force you to really like summon hard on specific characters. If people find out, hey, this unit is insane for like knighthood boss right now, like, it's going to force guild people to do that, which honestly all the top guilds are full of whales anyway, so I guess it's not going to affect most people. But it is kind of a significant change, I guess, at the end of the day. But we'll see how that kind of turns out for the rest of us. We are aware that some of you may have spent a long time studying the best strategies for clearing the knighthood boss battles in its current form to go up in the knighthood ranks, and we would like to acknowledge your efforts. Therefore, while clearing the lower knighthood boss battle difficulties will not be needed for the knighthood rankings, we will view additional ways where the strategies could be utilized in game. We would sincerely ask you to understand on this matter. I'm not sure if that means they're going to try to give better rewards for clearing the lower difficulties, or what the deal is there, but I don't really know. Maybe they're gonna. That might be one of the reasons why they were like, "Hey, let's make Einik the new co-op boss, where you take 2 people into it for this festival." Maybe that was a reason why they wanted to recycle the guild boss, like as a boss itself, and make it into an event thing. I'm not 100% sure on that. It's kind of interesting. This concludes our August dev notes, where we would share some of the upcoming changes and improvements we plan on making to the game, which were based on your continuous feedback. In our next dev notes, we plan to bring some highly anticipated news, as well as some more details on new content that's under development. So highly anticipated news is very interesting. No specifics on that, I guess, but we would like to thank you for your constant love and support, and we promise to continue providing you with the best gaming experience for the Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross. Sending you the best regards from the dev team. So, honestly, I think pretty interesting dev notes, to be honest. I think the changes for Labyrinth sound pretty good. Making it to where more people can clear it is obviously a good thing. Additional hero arena improvements. I would still really like to see the rewards maybe tweaked a bit, where people can actually get stuff out of the exchange shop, and I don't know, it like, why even if they were like, hey, let's make it to where you can only get 80 LR coins out of the exchange shop at one time, so that way you can't complete an entire LR with one season, but you can also, like, if they did that but gave you way more currency so that way you could get all 80 of the LR coins and you could get other stuff out of the exchange shop too, I would like that more, because then if they, whenever they do the next season of Labyrinth, you could get the 20 coins that you needed to complete all 100, and then you could make your LR that way. I don't know. It feels so stupid to me that there's an exchange shop for that game mode and you're basically only ever buying LR coins out of it. Like, it just feels super pointless to me, but it is what it is. So hopefully they'll keep adjusting that. It sounds like the adjustments that they're doing are pretty good so far, so I'm gonna just kind of hold my tongue, see how it goes. Tower Trials obviously ending being very weird. I don't know. I really wish they would have at least reset it one last time before they let it go. But I guess it just kind of is what it is. Hopefully, if I assume Heroes Arena was the content that they were replacing it with, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It sounds like they might still have something that they want to replace it directly, but I don't know on that for sure. We'll kind of have to wait and see, but oh well. I mean, honestly, once you beat it the first time, it's kind of just boring content anyway, so I'm interested. If they replace it with something else that's kind of fun, I won't really mind. Knighthood boss battles calculation changes, I'm okay with, I guess. I mean, during push weeks, you just basically have to focus on hell difficulty, which I think is not going to be as bad, maybe. So that way you don't have to do like continuous runs like crazy on the old difficulties. But we'll just see how sort of things go and how the community sort of takes it. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on this whole thing. Sorry for the long video with the not as so good mic, but if you made it all the way to the end, let me know. Leave a little apple emoji or something in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one.